Hi everyone and welcome. I am Himanshi Goel, Product Marketing Manager at Exotis. And on behalf of our whole team, I would like to thank you for joining us here today. Over the last year, we have all seen a big shift in how contact centers are being run. Call volumes are rising, customer expectations are sharper than ever, and leaders are under immense pressure to do more with less. One thing that keeps coming up in every conversation is how do we really know what's happening in every customer interaction? That's why today's session is all about giving you a new way to look at your customer conversations. We'll walk you through what's new with conversation quality analysis, which is CQA, show you a live demo of how it actually works, and end with how you can start trying it out right away in your existing NU by Exotel contact center. So let's get started. I have two fantastic speakers here with me. First up, Sachin Taneja, product manager of our contact center platform. He's been at the core of building solutions that help enterprises simplify operations while staying scalable and future ready. Sachin will share how we are shaping the contact center experience with tools like CQA. Alongside him is Yashwanti, our in-house solution consultant and GenAI evangelist. She's been working closely with top enterprises across BFSI, retail, edtech, and more, helping them harness AI to scale quality across conversations. So, what do we have lined up for you today? We'll take you through the shifts we are seeing in contact centers, what CQA brings to the table, and how it will lift both PX and agent performance. We'll also show you a live demo, get your questions answered, and learn how to kick off your own trial account and see the ROI from day one. So let's get started. But before that, I'd just like to catch a glimpse of what our audience thinks. So I'm opening a poll question for all of you to answer. Just go ahead and select one option that resonates the most with you. How much of your calls do you think get effectively analyzed today? And this could be either manually, you are doing some sampling, or through some tool. Anyway, just select one option that resonates the most with you. Okay, for those who haven't voted, a few more seconds and then we'll close the poll. Okay. Okay, closing the poll now. And that's an interesting selection of options here with us. So, coming to you, Sachin, looking at these results, it's clear that most conversations still go unanalyzed. What happens when contact centers limit the analysis to a certain number of calls? How does that affect operations and outcomes?
Look, the problem with checking only a small fraction of calls is that we never get to see the full picture. Things like compliance, SOPs, or even how the customers are actually feeling, these things are often missed during the analysis. But when we analyze each and every interaction, quality moves from a guesswork to a data driven process. We can finally see what's happening across the complete flow, and we can spot the risks very early. We can guide the agents in a better way, and we can really understand the customer sentiment all in real time and also at a scale, which is impossible by doing it in the manual way.
Makes sense. And I would like to take a say of Yash here as well. You have been interacting with customers across countries. And with these poll results, how do you think it can impact the customer conversations that businesses is having with their customers on a day-to-day basis?
Um, See, I would actually like to agree with Sachin. So, See, even I'm actually a little surprised to see that around 25% of the calls are getting effectively analyzed into code results, because the industry standard is about 4 to 5%. Because that's the average that we see when it comes to manual QA. But also, when you talk about effectively analyzed, right, there are multiple segments to it. Like, um, generally, when you look at manual QA framework, I think it's more about agent's performance that gets analyzed when you do a manual QA. Did the agent do this correct? Did the agent do this correct? Did the agent do this correct? Did he talk to the customer properly? How in the store? All of that comes from the picture. But what we kind of overlook or skip seeing is that your first hand information is your customer conversations. There's no more naked truth than your customer conversations, right? So how deep are we delving into it to get more insights? It could be something related to your business. It could be something related to your product. It could be something related to your brand perception. Now, all of that, if I put into this effective zone, I don't think it is 50%. It is not even 25%. It's not even 5% for that part. So to look at the same, uh, to look at it equally, to look at it with the same lens, to look at it in a very systematic way, a manual QA would never suffice. And I think that's the reason why we've arrived at today's webinar, the product. And
Right, right, I agree. And the conversation quality part is really a food for thought. And I've got some numbers to put that in perspective. I mean, take a look at this slide. Each call your contact center handles costs somewhere between $2 to $5. And that's just the starting point. The bigger impact comes when the insights from these calls aren't captured, like you were saying, Yash. Insights that could improve CX, reduce repeat calls, or even flag compliance risk and customer expectations. So I'd like to go back to Sachin. How big quality analysis is actually for contact centers? And what are businesses these days doing to ensure that their high call volumes are still efficient?
The, the quality assurance is very big for contact centers today because we are living in a world where every single customer interaction matters. So traditionally, as Yash also mentioned, the QA teams can manually check up to 4 to 5% of calls. That is on a very high level. Usually it's around 3%, which means we are blind to around 97, 96% of the calls and we are not analyzing them. It's like judging a complete movie and just looking at single scene. It's like that. So now when the call volumes are have gone on a very high side, we are talking about tens of thousands of interactions per day. And in verticals like banking, e-commerce, telecom, it's really impossible that we can rely on manual checks. And that is why there are multiple businesses that are turning to AI-driven QA. What it actually does is it analyzes 100% of the calls automatically. It checks for some things like tone, empathy, resolution. These things are very difficult to check manually for each and every single interaction. And there is, I mean, AI is working on a predefined set of parameters, and it will analyze each call in that particular way. It also gives supervisor access to kind of dashboards and reports that are really impossible to plot them manually. So QA is no longer just about compliance. It's about making sure that the large volumes that we are handling today, those large volumes are getting efficiently analyzed and with a high quality analysis.
Correct. I totally agree with you, Sachin. And what you just said, that QA is not just about spotting errors uh, on how agents are handling calls, but it is about capturing insights. And now that we have brought in AI, I'll talk to Yash as well just in a while. Before that, I have another poll question for our audience that I am launching just now. What's your biggest challenge with call quality? You can select one option that is your biggest challenge right now. The poll is open for you. There are no right or wrong answers here, so just select any option that has been a challenge or is a challenge for your businesses right now? Ending the poll in next 5 seconds. So go ahead if you haven't voted yet. And here are the results of our next poll. What do you think about it, Yash? There are a mixed answers that we have here.
Actually, it is good. It is good to see the spread. I was hoping that it doesn't stick to one bucket. In fact, I'm also a little maybe because of the number of participants, I guess, but ensuring compliance is also another thing because I think we have folks from the BFSI segment as well. But yeah, it is good that it's a mixed spread, which means there's no one single reason why you do a QA, which means you need a more comprehensive system to cover all the different things that you're wanting to do. So happy to see the spread.
Right. So if I have to ask you both, Yash and Sachin, what's according to you would make a perfect call analysis? Like what aspects of any conversation, be it on chat, be it on call, what should it cover so that businesses have complete visibility in and out of what they can derive from that conversation?
Look, first of all, there are blind spots everywhere. As we previously mentioned as well, that only 3% of calls can be analyzed. So we are missing out on the critical risks that are happening on rest of the 97% of the calls. Second, doing manual QA is a very high cost but low value outcome. So manually listening to calls, it drains time, it wastes resources, but still it does not scale with the volume of interactions that we are currently handling. And manual QA is somewhat a reactive approach, like as you cannot analyze all the calls right now. So, and if there is an escalation or there is an experience or customer experience that was not, but that might show up in an audit weeks after, months after, if there is an escalation based. And during that time, the customer experience is getting hampered because we have not addressed that particular problem at that particular moment.
Right.
It's also a scalability nightmare, I would say, because conversations are growing at a very huge pace, whereas matching that pace with manual QA is not possible. Yash, what are your thoughts on this?
I think Satsan, you've covered. Sorry, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Yash.
So, Satsan has pretty much covered, but I will again circle back to the same point that I was telling initially that there are a lot of dots that you need to connect, which doesn't get done in a manual QA substitute. Be it a customer sentiment, be it why was the customer all of a sudden frustrated in a sales call? It happens in multiple tranches, right? Probably somebody would have been very interested in a product. The interest should have peaked somewhere. Then they would have already suddenly got frustrated because of maybe a pricing thing, maybe a feature related stuff, or maybe something that did not work for them. What was that? So like that, you will have, if you see just one customer, might not be very insightful. Then you see that pattern across multiple people. Then you see that for different product lines, you see different patterns coming up. Then you see that your business is all of a sudden dipping because of some brand perception. Now, all of these are technically patterns. Now, how are you uncovering it? As I said, it has to be a systematic approach where, there's no bias, there is no. When it is manual QA, you have a human doing all of these, right? My mood will not be the same today, it will not be the same tomorrow. So, every time there might be some fluctuations. Same as the case with the team, a context would not flow. Same as the case with volume, that you can't cover large volume. So all of the things that you have mentioned in this slide, and even a lot, will be fixed when you go for system, when you go for a this automated QA kind of a thing. So I will say uncovering patterns is also something that the business would need. Or once we show them that this is something that we will need, I think that will add more sense for them to move towards more of auto QA or a tool in place. That is it.
Yeah. Makes sense, Yash. Identifying patterns is like the half job done. Once you have identified the patterns, you can use those to actually improvise the agent's performance, to enhance your processes, and the operations then take a boost all along. We were talking about AI earlier, and since you are an AI evangelist, I'll have to ask you this question. How Gen AI is impacting the quality analysis these days? What new it is bringing to the table that already existing tools were not able to provide?
Okay. A bit of a background. AI was never new. AI has been in the scene for so many decades now. Gen AI is probably a newer flavor that has come under AI. Now, what is Gen AI? Like how you and I speak. See, so far for any program, any tool, any software, you will have to construct things in a way that system can understand. Gen AI has broke that barrier where it says you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do a specific language, specific way of inputting into a system. You speak the way you want, I will get things done for you. That's all about Gen AI. So it's going to understand things in your own language. It's going to understand your needs in your own language. So defining things has gotten pretty simple. And Gen AI has become more powerful because it has access to everything that happens across the world, whatever is publicly available. It can deduce patterns faster. It can clearly inculcate or imbibe all the newer things that you are trying to do. It can try and understand people's emotions and sentiments. So it has become so intelligent that it's able to understand somebody's perspective. By the choice of words, it can understand somebody's emotion. By this context flowing from the previous conversations, it's able to predict what is the next thing that a customer would want. Can be your customer's life cycle, can be the next thing to sell, can be the next issue a customer might bring up, or as simple as when is this customer going to churn? Looking at the pattern, when am I going to lose business? And what do I need to do to make this customer stay? Imagine having a personal assistant going through all of that that's happening in your business and also giving you insights as to what is it that you need to do. What call do you need to take? Now, this makes Gen AI so powerful. So, all the pointers that you've put across on the screen, be that the sentiment, be that collecting data, identifying the right opportunity for upsell, cross-sell, the feedback. Now, end of the day, you can never eradicate human touch. We are not going to replace humans with AI. We are going to use AI as an aid for humans, right? So, nobody now. Take me, for instance, I'm going to a brand, I have some concern. I would never want to talk to a machine. I will always want to talk to a human. No matter how many IVRs, how many pods, how many things come into picture, I feel a human can understand me better. But for that human, you need some aid. So my tool is going to this Gen AI as a tech is going to aid that human, saying that, hey, this person had asked for so many things that she was not happy with ABC. She may probably be coming back for the same thing. Ensure that you have your answers prepared, or these are the answers that you may want to say. These are the things, these are cues and intents that the tool is going to give. Now, this helps in two ways. One is for the business to learn how is this customer evolving. Second is for the agent to train himself on what are the things that he or she is actually lacking, and so that they can better themselves. Now, contact center, since we're talking about contact center, I know it's Sachin's forte, but I just want to add one point. Contact center has a lot of churn. You don't see the same manpower sticking for more than a year, right? So, which means every time a new person comes in, how are you going to input the context? How are you going to let that person train quicker without a lot of manpower overhead? And for all of it, this becomes the answer. So, I think this is how it is more powerful.
Right. And companies right now are spending so much on training their agents. And there is a high attrition rate in certain industries as well, especially like you mentioned in contact centers. So when we talk about Exotel's conversation quality analysis, is it just for tracking how well your agent is performing, or are there more layers to it? How is it different? What more it brings to the conversation? If you can shed some light on that.
So, as I said before, now when you talk about manual QA and auto QAing the same, it just comes to 1/3 of what the tool is capable of. Now, if you look at these three buckets that's displayed in the screen, all of this comes under the operational insights. How is my agent doing? How well is he covering the sections? How well is he answering customer queries? How well is he facing objections? How well is he giving reassurance? How well is he pushing it towards his own SOP? probably to convert a sale or to effectively resolve a ticket or to efficiently raise a grievance or to escalate it to the right team. So for each use case, like be it a sales case or a customer support or a marketing, each use case, each agent has his own criteria to meet or some end outcome to be performed, right? But that is just one part of the story. Since the beginning of the session, we were saying there's a lot more. Now you have a process set. You have a new product that you've launched. You have a new marketing campaign that's gone live in the market. Now you want to measure the effectiveness of that campaign. You want to measure a new process effectiveness that you have implemented. All of that can be figured out from your process KPIs. So very specific to a process, how is it working? You have 100 agents, out of which 70 agents are failing in the process. They are not able to get the right scores there, which means your process is too complicated. Go set the process. Instead, you have a new process where you see 10 agents are failing out of 100. Then probably those 10 agents need training because the remaining 90 is able to pick it up. So these are all your process related insights. Now, strategic KPIs. Now, that is where gone are those days when we do this IVR based CSATs. How many of us do this IVR based CSATs right after the call ends? I have no patience. As soon as the call ends, I will truncate the call. Right. But there are very few who go into that IVR and give a 4 or a 5 rating based on either they're too happy or they're too frustrated. It's very skewed. But when imagine the whole call is anyways being listened. So what if your CSAT gets generated based on the nature of the call or nature of that opportunity? Likewise, you have your NPS defined. You figure out your upsell cross-sell opportunities. There is a lot that you can see. So it's not just operational. There is a strategic angle. There is a process angle. So maybe as we discuss this further in the sessions, I can again touch upon and show you real-time examples. But for now, I'm saying it's not just operational. You have a lot more. You have something from process. You have something from strategic. So that is
Right. So we are not just scratching the surface with agent performance, where it's actually impacting the decision making strategies, the processes. It's a complete holistic evaluation and analysis that we are doing, right?
yes, absolutely.
Okay, so now the highlight of the session, we'll jump in for the live demo. But before that, I have another quick question for our audience. So I'll open the poll for you to answer. Which of these CQA benefits would create the most impact for your team? So what is it that you're looking from CQA, how it can help and enhance your operations? Which is the biggest thing that you see as an advantage? Just select one option. If you haven't voted, just go ahead and vote. I'll be ending the poll in the next few seconds. Okay. Ending the poll now. And here are the results of the question. Pinpointing revenue leakage, improving coaching effectiveness, and understanding customer needs. Sachin and Yash, what do you think about this? How effectively can CQA help with this? And if you can show it with the live demo, what all we are providing our participants in the trial that they can use right away from their contact center dashboard. So if we can touch upon that.
I share my screen. Just one left. Himanshi, I think we have to stop sharing the screen. Then we'll be.
I'll do that. Go ahead, Sachin.
Just wait. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. And this right now, the CQA tech is enabled. This is enabled only for the supervisor persona. And what we have done right now is that we are fetching any random 200 calls per day. and analyzing those random calls. So if you log in as a supervisor, there is a more icon on the top bar, and when you click on it, you will see a CQA app here. Upon clicking CQA, you will be able to see the embedded CQA within the Exotel platform. So here you can see that we have created a default quality profile which has general traits of all the call, like opening and closing, soft skills, CSAT, NPS, because these things apply to all of the calls. Going forward, if you purchase this product or if you try this, do a POC, then you'll be able to customize this quality profile as per your business needs. So if you go to analysis, you will see the analysis name as your campaign name. Like if I as a supervisor, I am assigned in 3 campaigns. So as we are analyzing only 200 calls, so if there is a possibility that only calls from a single campaign was picked. So it is not like for all the campaigns in which you are assigned, you will be able to see the analysis, as it's just a trial. So for whichever campaigns that were assigned to you, and if any call has been analyzed, you will see the campaign name here. That will be the analysis name. And when you click on view, you will be able to see the number of conversations that has been analyzed. Overall, what is the overall average KPI score? You will see the KPI score bifurcation. Like if it's greater than 80, less than 80, less than 50, all those bifurcation will show here. How many the agent count right now is not available in the trial, but yeah, it will be going forward. What is the average conversation duration, KPI score time, intent analysis? Like if you can see by analyzing this chart, you can directly see what are the intents of the customer that are trying to reach your contact center. They are trying to reach out for an issue resolution. They are trying to reach out for a complaint, service request, support, technical support. All these intents are automatically generated by AI. You can also understand the vibe of the customer, like whether the customer was frustrated during the call, whether the customer was or the agent was helpful or informative during the call. This overall sentiment of the customer is also captured. If you go to itemized report, you'll be able to see the detailed analysis of each interaction that has been analyzed. You will see the date and time of the call. You will be able to listen to the recording. You can see the complete transcript of the call. Like what did the agent say? How did the customer respond? The intent of that call, sentiment, vibe, summary. And if you drill down, you can see the summary at a very high level, agent summary, how the agent approached that particular customer problem. The customer summary, how the customer felt during that particular call, what was the customer state, what exactly that customer wanted to be resolved. And then from a business angle, all these summaries are generated. And then there is the scoring, and if the score is less than 50%, you will see the justification, why the score was less than 50%, what did the agent did not do correctly, that will also be mentioned. Okay. If this detailed analysis will be visible to the agent as well. And if the agent wants to raise a dispute, the agent in the agent persona, the agent will be able to raise a dispute for this particular interaction against a particular KPI. That is anyways enabled in the food product. So if a dispute is raised, the supervisor will be able to see all the disputes here and then quickly solve it. Yes, if you like take over and show some other KPIs, quality profiles, etc. I'll stop sharing.
Sure. Just give me a second. Meanwhile, we want to take any questions?
Yes, we can.
Participants can drop their question in the chat. We'll take those. Okay, we have one question from Anil. Speakers, would you like to take it right now?
Yes. Look, right now the analysis runs at midnight, but uh, it can be enabled on an hourly basis. That can be done.
Uh, so I'll just quickly touch upon a few things related to this. Just a second. So, what Sachin had showed now is actually a limited feature enabled for all of the ECC customers, right? But and also the profile is set by default. There are a few KPIs which are set by default, and we'll only be able to run that for the trial just to see how the tool is behaving. But generally, businesses come with their own set of KPIs. For each process, for each vertical, they may want to evaluate a set of parameters. So usually your KPIs are like this. You will have a manual QA sheet, and you would want to probably configure this in the system, which is possible. So when we write any quality profile, so we can, based on your sheet, whatever section, subsection you have, we can modify it according to the structure that we have. We can write the questions, give the scores, and there are three kinds of KPIs that you can write. It can be a binary KPI, which is a yes, no, or a not applicable scenario. It can be a categorization KPI where you're wanting to understand, let's say it's a customer success use case, you're wanting to understand the nature of the call or the purpose of the call, which can be a complaint, which can be a grievance, which can be a feedback, which can be some change of information. So we can configure those buckets and the calls can get categorized accordingly. Or you can rate the call on certain parameters. So there is a binary way, there is a rating scale, and there is also a categorization KPI available. This is more or less enough to kind of remodify your existing KPIs into the structure. But apart from that, you may also want to extract some insight. Let's say you're wanting to know which of your competitors were mentioned by the customer during the call. You may want to know if any sensitive information was spoken during the call. You may want to know if your agents had used any jargons which your customer might not understand, or if your agents were using any profane words during the call. You may have certain things that your agent shouldn't be speaking. All of that can be extracted from the call. You can extract a complete section also, which comes under this data extraction. Then when you run the analysis, as Sachin just showed, you will be able to see different kinds of summaries. You will be able to see the transcripts. You will see the scores. You have an option to raise dispute and all of that. But generally, when you run an analysis, right, in a day, you will have thousands of calls. It's not practically possible for you to log into every analysis, see every call. At that granular level, it might be useful for your supervisor or for an agent to log in and see what worked for that agent that day. How many calls did he score well? How many calls did he score less? He or she can choose to go through the calls where he scored less and figure out where was the area that he or she failed and what is the area of improvement. But ideally, I think all the businesses, all of us would want a consolidated view of this data being represented. And that is where we get into a dashboard. So we use something called as a superset to build dashboards on top of the data that has come as an output of the analysis, right? Now here we have different kinds of dashboards. Like we spoke about operational insights, we spoke process insights, we spoke about strategic insights. So we can have different dashboards created for different purposes. Now what you see is an operational insight dashboard. Imagine these are the different sections that you're wanting your agents to cover during a call. And you will have sectional score within the section. If there are some important parameters, we can display them in different kinds of charts. Now, everything that you see in the screen is configurable, which means based on your requirement, based on your structure, we can change the tabs, change the charts, change the way that data has been presented to you. And in fact, you can also see an agent snapshot. Now, I can also deploy these custom filters. When I go select a particular agent, you will see that only that agent's data gets reflected, not only in this tab, but in every tab. So the whole data set, the whole dashboard rearranges itself according to the filters that you put. And these filters are also customizable. It could be a process related filters, agent related filters, time related filters, and all of that. So this is your operational insight dashboard, but it doesn't stop there. Now we were talking about some strategic insights as well, right? Now, for example, this is specific to BFSI, something that we've built. Something like identifying first call resolution rate. Now, this tool is not just capable of taking your call recordings, it can also evaluate your chat or email transcripts. So you get your multi-channel scores, you get your CSAT score that's populated, you get your SOP adherence score of your agent. And then in case if you're using multiple languages, you get to see the language split as well. Now, the tool is so convenient that you don't have to bucketize according to your language also. You can dump the whole thing. So when we pick it up from ECC, you can deploy a few filters, like choose a specific campaign or choose a particular subset when you go live. Not in this POC, but generally when you go for an extended POC or when you go live, you can set those filters. You can see further bifurcations. You can see the why sentiment. Now, in banking, compliance is a major thing. So we had separately created a compliance chart. There are different parameters that we evaluate for compliance, and we see under which product, which agent has been most compliant, least compliant, etc. And for your sentiment, right? It doesn't help if I just give you a positive, negative, neutral. I'll have to tell you what are the things which led to a positive sentiment call. What are the categories which led to a negative sentiment? What are the categories that led to a neutral sentiment? I can change the structure of the chart, but the data is there for you to consume. Likewise, we can even figure out why was a customer happy, unhappy in the call. Now, with respect to a brand, process, or product, why was a customer happy, unhappy? With respect to an agent, why was the customer happy, unhappy? All of these are insights that you can figure out. Now, you can even get to we can figure out areas of improvement for your agent from a compliance standpoint, from a process standpoint, from a product standpoint, and it doesn't stop there. I just wanted you to take you through the data that fuels this dashboard. Now, this is the data. Now, the report that you get out of the tool will not be this formatted, but this is the same data that you get out of the tool if you configure your KPIs or your parameters right. Okay. Half of it has come from the customer where they give their metadata like agent ID, customer ID, your ticket ID. All of these needs to flow from your metadata. Could be from the ECC part or can be integrations with your other communication stack like your CRMs, your ticketing tools and all of that. Once we have that data coming in, from here, it becomes my AI generated data. It identifies the purpose based on the buckets I give. It identifies the product category for which the call has happened. It identifies the ticket status based on the way the call has actually ended. And then it also gives you score on different parameters that's set. Now, this is for my opening section. This is for my soft skill section. This is for my closing section. These are for my probing section, probing skills of my agent. You have a separate compliance section, but it doesn't stop here. What is more critical is how the tool is able to identify. I'll just zoom this a bit, maybe for ease of view. It can figure out your upsell, cross-sell opportunities based on that conversation. Now, there are a few conversations where it is not discussed, even that is being captured. But if at all, if it is being discussed, it is able to identify the upsell, cross-sell. But for this, there is something called as a knowledge base integration that's required with the tool, where the tool needs to understand what is your line of business. What are your different product lines? When you sell one thing, what are the other things that you can cross-sell? When you sell one thing, what are the things that you can upsell? Now, these are all knowledge based integrations where you train the system on this. And then it'll be able to, and you can also explicitly mention your key competitors so that we can figure out whether those competitors were mentioned during the call. And in fact, the tool also went one step higher in identifying what was the customer's expected feature. Now, somebody talks about a credit card, but they are whining about, I'm not able to easily upgrade my card. I have all the eligibility. I'm not able to upgrade. So then their expected feature would be an easy card upgrade. Likewise, for each call, it is able to figure out an expected feature. And it also gives you some recommendation. Hey, the whole call was that the customer support team wasn't available throughout. So I think the customer wants a 24/7. Now, when I make a chart around it, now for one customer, it will not have any impact. But imagine thousands of your customer asking for the same thing over a period of time, over a month, over a couple of months, over a quarter. And then you will see that, oh, this is something that you may want to launch. And how do you want to launch? All of that will come into picture. And like I said, It figures out what the customer is happy with, unhappy with, and it also gives you the CSAT score and the NPS score. So this, if you look at it, now the whole perspective of this operational insights has slightly taken a back seat, because out of that, by giving the customer the best experience, by giving the customer a delight, you're ideally wanting to improve your return of investment, right? So the tool kind of focuses around that and helps you uncover all of those insights. Now, all of these are possible when you go on extended paid POCs or when you go live with the system, where my team will sit and discuss and we will try and co-create what you would require for your business to achieve its ROI, right? So that's how this whole tool has been designed. And these are the things that I wanted to show. Happy to take any questions.
Yes, we have a question around languages. So Ankit is asking, does it provide speech to text transcription with accuracy in multiple languages, especially South languages? So if you can share any accuracy percentage that we offer, the languages that we support.
Yeah, it does, Anit. So for Hindi and English, we've seen an accuracy of about 98%. And for South Indian regional languages, for Tamil, for Telugu, we've seen a language accuracy of about 90%. This includes multiple dialects as well. For Malayalam and Kannada, we see an accuracy of about 85%. Now, this tool is language agnostic. You don't have to split the languages, as I said. Second thing, within our Indian region background was that within one call, you will see multiple languages toggling, right? So, sorry, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So within one call, you will have multiple languages, and the tool can seamlessly identify every language and get an accurate transcription. So what I'm talking about is then transcript accuracy. So for, as I said, for Tamil and Telugu, you see about 90%. For Malayalam and Kannada, it's about 85%. But with more data to try, we will be able to filter out a higher language, because higher accuracy. Because what we do is we switch between multiple ASRs and LLMs at the back end. So we try to mix and match, which gives you the best accuracy. So the configuration can change tenant wise, which is each customer account wise, but we can try and give you the maximum accuracy. And this is to begin with. This will only keep improving with time. So I hope that answers.
Another question, what is your USP and how different you are from other market players?
Okay, see, USP is multiple. One is we are a single vendor, which means all the different tools that we have gets tied in one place, right? So data movement is seamless. Specific to CQA, if you talk about the USP, the switch mechanism that I just spoke about is something that is our USP. So we have an intelligent switch mechanism which switches between multiple ASRs and LLMs, which helps you with cost, which helps you with cost optimization, accuracy, as well as the overall infrastructure optimization. So this way, and the next thing, everything is customizable, which means from your dashboards, from your KPIs, from the features that you see, everything becomes completely customizable. And I don't think, as far as I know, any other existing competitor of mine is able to customize to the extent that we do. So these are the key USPs. Apart from that, your service delivery, your customer support, all of this comes into picture. But that I wouldn't call as a major USP. From a product feature standpoint thing, this is my major USP. If that answers.
Yeah. If you can also confirm what are the daily limits on calls that can be analyzed, and
There are no such daily limit. So we will have to scale our infrastructure accordingly. You will have to let us know the volume upfront. So let's say you have 5,000 calls in a day, we'll keep the infra accordingly. You have 10,000 calls in a day, we'll keep the infra accordingly. But you say 10,000 and all of a sudden you see a 20,000 search, that is where you will have to keep us posted about this is a volume high, expected high volume because of some campaign that you run. So that we will, it's a scalable infrastructure that we have at the back end. But it's important to let us know the volume upfront. It will not real-time dynamically handle. To an extent, yes, there will always be a margin of effort, but doubling, tripling of your volumes, you will have to let us know of it. That's for the volume. But otherwise, we don't see any upper threshold in volumes as of.
okay, and what about the trial?
In trial, it's upper limit of 200 calls, and we are taking calls that are around 3 minutes. So 200 calls that has around 3 minutes of talk time.
200 on a daily basis, right?
200 on a daily basis with 3 minutes each of 3 minutes of talk.
Got it. And I would just like to reiterate that this was not a generic evaluation. Depending on your SOPs, depending on what exact insight do you want, the analysis will be done on that. Right now in the trial version, we have some parameters already configured for you, so you can analyze the calls on that and fetch the reports. We can have more questions from the audience, but meanwhile, I'll also launch our last poll question of the webinar.
Yeah, I think there is a question from Rahul on how AI will justify the resolution because was that answered?
We answered it in the chat, but if you want to add something to it, go ahead.
Sure. So Rahul, if you look at the tool, right, the tool is designed in such a way where for every score, you will see the justification that comes up. And for every answer within the KPI structure, you will see the justification coming up. Now, the score is evaluated based on the list of KPIs that you write. AI will not know what's your overall process unless we do a knowledge base integration. But even then, this is something where you will have to put some guardrails saying that these are the scenarios. For this is how you will have to consider the scenarios to be, the customer profile to be, the agent profile to be, and all of that. Policies and processes, knowledge base is the answer because that is where we integrate with your own policies and processes. But so there are two kinds of accuracy that I want to talk about. One is the transcript accuracy, which is pretty much straightforward because it directly comes from the ASRs and it comes from the ASRs. But for your KPI accuracy, we will keep tweaking the KPI. So the model needs to be built. That's why when you start with the 85, 90% accuracy, it can go up because we will keep fine tuning it and we will ensure that the right resource is there, which is integrated with the system so that AI can pick it up properly. This will take some time. But justification is always given. That is where you can raise a dispute. You can say whether this justification is right or not. When you say it is not, it goes back to training the system itself. Right? So that's how the system also keeps improving. You cannot expect this to work in its best overnight. This will take some time. At least a set of volume of calls, but 6,000, 7,000 minutes, or at least a couple of months of runtime. That is required. That is given.
And I would like to ask you this question. We have this question in the chat. I'd like you to answer. How soon can we see the glimpse of this product?
You can talk to your CX or Sachin if you can take it.
Sorry, yeah. No, this was already enabled for multiple customers by the call, but if it's not enabled for you on it, it can be enabled on the mic. So just reach out to your CSM and he'll get that enabled.
So you can just log in into your contact center dashboard, and there in the top menu, you'll see more option. You can click on it and choose the Explore CKO option. If you don't see this option right now in your account, you can reach out to us and we will get it enabled for you. 30-day free trial for you. So yeah, you can explore it right away from your contact center dashboard. We'll be closing the poll shortly. So if you haven't answered, just drop an option that if whether you would like to explore the product or you need some more information. Meanwhile, if you have any other questions, you can drop the question in the chat. We'll take those up. Okay, so we have another question. What's the pricing model like?
Yash, can you please respond to this?
Pricing model is something that I think you'll have to talk to your CXs because it depends on the volume and volume use cases and all of that put together. Your CXTs or your ADs will be the right people to talk about pricing. It's not a bad blanket price assess, not a rate card kind of a thing. So they would be the right people to respond.
Trial is completely free, so you can use that for 30 days without any cost. But if you want to explore it further, then you can reach out to us, and depending on your exact requirements, we can plan a pricing model for you. I'll end the poll in the next 5 seconds. So if you want to respond, you can do that right now. Okay. And if there are no further questions, I think we can wrap this up. We can all get 5 minutes back from our schedule. Thank you all for joining. This has been a pleasure. A lot of insights to take away, and we'll definitely recommend you to uh, go and check out our product, see what it can do for you, how it can enhance your customer conversations. And if you have any questions while you are even trying out the trial product, just reach out to us and we'll guide you through that. Once again, thank you. Thank you, Sachin, and thank you, Yash. Thank you to all the attendees.